We're here in section 2.2 and we're just about to finish up. I have one more thing that I'd like to go over with you. We're talking about circles and especially center radius form of a circle. So that's the formula you see on the screen here, and that tells us that we have a circle with center at h comma k and radius r. And so in example 4, we're just asked to describe the graph for each equation. And so the first one is straightforward. It's that formula represents a circle with center at 1, 2 and radius equal to 3. And then B and C are the tricky ones. What's weird about part B? This time the whole thing is set equal to 0. So if you had a circle with center at 1, 2, I guess that'd be okay. But then what would the radius be? 0 squared is 0. So a radius, what does it mean to have a radius of 0? It means you would be stuck there at the center. It means that the graph is a single point. The graph is a single point. And where is that single point? At the so-called center at 1, 2. And you can verify that 1, 2 does satisfy the equation. If you plug in 1 for x, you get 0 squared plus, and then plug in 2 for y, and you get another 0 squared. So all that equals to 0. So that sounds reasonable. Okay, now in this last example, now we have the same left-hand side, but now the right-hand side is a negative number. What does that tell us? Again, I suppose you could think of a center at 1, 2, but then the radius is meaningless, right? The square root of negative 25 is a non-real number. We can't have that when we're talking about when we're talking about graphing, when we're talking about a distance. So we say that the graph is non-existent, which is just a fancy way to say there is no graph, or there is no solution to the equation. That's the way we've said it in chapter 1. We talked about an equation with no solution. Here we say the graph is non-existent. I'd like to look at this one more way real quick. You have two terms here that are supposed to add up to give you negative 25. And the interesting thing is that each of these terms gets squared. So it doesn't matter what you put in for x. When you subtract 1, that doesn't really matter that much either. What matters is the square, which is going to force this term here to be positive. It could be 0, but it can't be anything less than 0. So you have a positive number or 0 right here, and you have another number that's also positive or 0 right here. And so when you add them together, doesn't the result have to be at least 0? It's not possible to add two positive numbers together to make negative 25. Okay, so anyway, the graph is non-existent. Here are two special cases to watch out for when you're thinking about circles.